Hey guys, welcome to the process. My name is Dr. John Bush. This is an early best ball discussion, February 6th, 2026. Using FFPC best ball ADPs I grabbed last week. We'll see what's all about. I will be on the Aces Up podcast on the TSA sports affiliation. Me and Dennis will be on there running our mouth next Tuesday, which I don't know. What is that? That's the 10th of February. Okay, y'all can check that out. Here's some figures I'm doing. And I guess I better label this part one. Okay, I'm feeling inspired here to do videos. I'm not much into this, but here we go. This is for you guys. By the way, I am a Saints fan. Let's see, how do I show my love? Here we go. Yay! And no, the Super Bowl's coming. I hope they both lose. Okay, ready for the Saints to come back and win the Super Bowl some before I die in this world. Uh, this is my method of uh, looking at patterns. I do a top-down approach. If you've seen any of my videos, you may not have. There's 500 and something videos. You should check them out. I think there are some that are not season specific that discuss things, but I use the top-down analysis first. That's what, as a biologist, I'm a retired molecular biologist, 30 years at University of Arkansas at Little Rock, and it that's how I looked at questions using the scientific method. That's why we do science of fantasy football. Not enough people listen to us. I understand. Everybody wants the fire. Nobody wants to worry about how the damn wood was chopped. I got that. But I'm trying to help you chop some wood. So this is chopping wood for best ball. It's a little early for me to get in, but it's never early to talk about it and do research. When I'm approaching best ball, I like to look at patterns. I like to see landmarks. I like to get a sense of what's going on. I do not like to be surprised. I do not like runs to go or gaps to be there I don't know about. Okay, that's foolish to take a trip if you don't understand the roadmap, right? So it's giving money away to your colleagues here. So these blue dots represent positional picks for wide receivers, tight ends, running backs, and quarterbacks here. So what you'll see is this is round 1, 2, 3, and 4. Big red here. So let's do tight ends to jump in. This is FFPC is tight end premium. So that's why people start going for tight ends. Uh, Ape shit crazy. Here we go. There they are. You can predict who those are. And then the third tight end will be drafted in the end of round 2. So if you've got to have one of these, if you wait till round 3, they're gone. So if you didn't know that, you could be, well, maybe they'll hang on. They won't hang on, folks. Don't be surprised. Here's the gap. So the public is saying it's these three or take a cold potato and wait on your supper because your tight end supper, because it says rounds 3 and 4, no tight ends will be taken on average. The main show, of course, is wide receivers, running backs. Notice there's a group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wide receivers, actually 6 if you count pick 12. versus 4 RBs. So round one is biased to the WRs. You need to know that. You don't need to guess, was that going to happen or not happen? If you have the river pick 11 or 12, you could probably grab some, a doublet of, WRs. You could get a couple of these right here. These will be on. If you want to balance an RB, you'll get probably RB5, and then you can grab WR, what is that, 5, 6, 7. So you need to pick on, if you're skipping tight ends, right? If you're skipping. So do I need to grab 2 RBs? Okay, so on the river pick, you might get this person. I don't know, doubt it. But most likely this and this one. Is that worth your time waiting all the way down this way to get some of these RBs? I mean, WRs. WR ones, the first 12 will be gone by the first 2 rounds. Don't guess. Don't be amazed when that happens. It's going to happen. The top RBs, top 12 will be gone as well by the middle of round 2. So again, I'm not surprised. If you're an early quarterback person, there will be a quarterback grabbed here, and I think here in round 4. So actually 2 in round 4. So if you got to have an early quarterback, you got to pick round 3 and 4. You can jump up in round 2, but I probably wouldn't recommend that. So anyway, this figures out on the Discord on the sports affiliation under Best Ball Channel. I'm pretty much running that. All my data I'm flicking around. Another way to look at this is WR RBs by Best Ball ADP tiers. I'm letting the public tell us about the tiers. And the first 2 rounds, public says there are 4 tiers. Chases by themselves, and then you've got 4, 3, 4. Okay. So first thing I do is ask myself, is Chase really by himself? Okay, question 1. Question 2, I look at each of these tiers and ask, who's the imposters? There's imposters in here. Okay, there's imposters. You need to think about that. Right now, it all seems like, yeah, this makes sense. I understand that's because we're still thinking about last year. But try to look forward a little bit. What did Chase do when Burrow got hurt? Okay. How did London do with injuries to quarterbacks or not? Penix versus and Cousins. What happened to Neighbors? He got hurt. How did Jefferson do? He had a very sad year, in my opinion, compared to where we drafted him last year. And he's back up here again. You can get another bite of that apple if you want. But here is your focus, is trying to pick. Doesn't mean these are who you're going to draft because it's way early, but it starts your research, starts not just what happened before. Okay, everybody knows points per game, etc. Forget that. It's looking at what could happen next year. Say, well, we don't have strength of schedule. That kind of, I got that. But as time trickles by, you can keep track of this and see what's going on. I don't see any rookie WRs here, so that's interesting. None of them made the first 2 rounds. RBs are here. RBs are a little bit more spread out than this, right? So that's kind of interesting. So you ask yourself, Bijan versus Gibbs, is there a difference? Okay. CMC versus A-Shane, is there a difference? Is Taylor really in his third tier by himself? Gente, Cook, what we got here, Hampton, Chase Brown. So again, this kind of patterning, the public is making some average picks. That's what ADP is. And it allows you to focus on questions that you have. If you've got a diary, how have you done in previous years? Are you good at picking out RBs, imposters, or winners versus WRs? Okay. Public is saying there's a lot of WRs here that could be really significant. They think there's less RBs that are significant. Think about it. If they thought some of these RBs that are not shown in here are significant, they should be here. They're not. Yet there's a crowding of the WR. So there is this bias this year early on of a WR versus RB selection here. So I've got this figure for you to look at as well. So again, we're setting the table. Here's rounds 3 and 4. Brown, McMillan here by themselves. Wilson, Higgins, McConkey, then Flowers, Jamerson, Williams, Devontae Adams. He's still hanging around. Devonta Smith. Is that real or Memorex? What do we got here? Who's the imposters? As we go down the rounds, there tends to be a few more imposters. So some of this you could just pick on who is the imposter picks. And a lot of times what's left should be realistic in, okay, it makes sense. So you can let your competition pick the imposters. That's one way to play that. Here's RBs. Notice RBs are picking up now. A lot more RBs here. And Jeremiah Love, the first rookie RB. Is he worth the same as Barkley? Is he better than Jacobs and Bucky Irwin? Better than Henry? King Henry? What? And there's the Hall, Harvey, Henderson, Corbin Williams. There's the nice big chunk here, tier, and then Walker, Etienne, and Scatterboot. So lots of questions by the end of the fourth round. So if you just picked RBs and WRs, I think I set the stage for you to compare within tiers and compare across blocks here, rounds 1 and 2 versus rounds 3 and 4. So it allows you to find the imposters. It groups players, and it makes it easy to make research decisions, watch the news, look at the rookie drafts. All this kind of information builds in. This is just setting the table. Okay, and if you've got to play some, if you've got to try to lose your money early this season versus waiting till August and lose your money, here you go. I'm going to give you the data to lose your money. Here's rounds 5 and 8. Again, this lets you look at the patterns deep into 8 picks here. And right away, 8th round, no tight ends were picked. In fact, the top 12 tight ends are gone by round 7, and there's a gap. So if you really like any of these, then you probably should pick them. I wouldn't wait for round 8 to think, okay, I'll pick something. They're gone. Okay. WR2s are gone by round 5. WR3s are gone. So 36 are picked by round 8. So these are landmarks for you to understand what's going on. RBs, look, there's only 2 picked in round 5. That's pretty thin. Look, there's only 4 picked in round 5 and 6. 2 more, so 2, 4, 6 picked in rounds 5, 6, and 7. So it's lean on that. In fact, in a tight end premium, more tight ends picked in round 7 than WRs or RBs and quarterbacks as well. We see a spreading out of the quarterbacks here. A couple here, a couple there, a couple there. So there is a contraction and then an expansion of the picking. And it looks to me like WRs are really heavy into rounds 5 and 6, and they ease around 7 and 8. So again, you can pick your where your sleepers are. And again, sleepers are something that if I think they should perform 2, 3 rounds better than you think they are. If you don't think that, I don't think they're a sleeper. Again, I'm trying to vaguely define sleeper. It's hard to pick sleepers now because we're not sure what the final ADP will be at the end of August. But anyway, this will start getting you ready for questions. That's what you should be, is getting your list of questions on the players, the positions. If you kept your fantasy diary, this will allow you to uh, add to your strategy. Maybe you want to try things different this year. You had been winning a lot of money, try some things different. Do scientific experiments. Don't just, randomly flip a coin. Should I take him or not? That's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to use the scientific method to approach some of these decisions. Here is quarterbacks, and this is top 17, just shows the tiers. Notice they're spread out in the top 7. Okay, is Allen really better? May and Jackson, Burrow, and Daniels. I see Burrow, we got a lot of injury. Jackson, boy, he really did bad. So are those guys really better than Hurts or Dart? There seems to me there is a lot more questions about some of these early QBs. I'm not sure there are some that I'm really fired up about versus picking 2 or 3 later QBs for best ball and trying to assume the best ball concept will allow you to get nice bunch of weeks at a high level with multiple quarterbacks. Again, how many quarterbacks do you draft, etc. There's a lot of people do 2 to 3. I usually do 3. How many tight ends in a tight end premium? Probably 3. And so then the debate is, do we do WRs or RBs? I tend to do more RBs than WRs given the injury situations here. Here's the tight end tiers. Notice this big gap here. So they say all these cats here are not even close to these. And we know there's going to be some mistakes, some injuries, and there may be some bargains down here as well. Here's Kittle all the way down here. Boy, that looks pretty far for what I can see. But anyway, this is the time for you to start thinking about questions. Questions. This is a really complex data. I got this on the Discord. I show the top 24 RBs by this ADP. The status, they were rookie last year or they were in their year 2. I've got lots of secret data that I haven't presented yet on just rookies in their year 2 or just 2 years on their year 3 and their career for your dynasty people. I've got that data, but I don't know if I'm going to show it. Nobody slides some jack my way. So, hey, be happy I'm giving you uh, these data treats here. Player difference, DIF, that is the difference of one of the metrics I use. I'm going to call it counts above weekly medium scoring. I call it COM. Here's COM score. And this is the COM score here. Green is good. Yellow, not bad. Orange, not bad. Red getting a little thin here. Blue, really thin. So notice a lot of green, a lot of yellow and orange here. So I actually did the top RB by COM was CMC. His positional score is third best. So the difference is -2. So I would say that is a slight under overlay. That means if you pick him first, you're getting a little bit of a bargain here. But -2 is not a lot. I worry about Gibbs. I got him as a +9. That means he's probably much higher and an underlay, and I got him as the 11th best com from last year's data, and he's being drawn second. That seems too rich for my blood. I probably will not be getting him. Bijan is a 3. I figured you get what you get with him. I'm not overly worried, but I'm not a big fan of Gibbs. So this is some of the metrics I use to break ties. Some of the best overlays I'm looking at: King Henry, Kerwin Williams, Travis Etienne, Scatterbo, and Javonte Williams and Swift. I know they're deeper in, come on, John, they're deeper in the RBs, right? So it's kind of hard to find some bargains down here until round 2 or 3. I got that. Notice Jonte, by the way. I got him at 20th, but he's drawn 6. That's a +14. That I'm probably letting you draft him. I know he could be a world winner, etc. Not buying it. And Hampton is an 11. I think they're overstating the rookie here. At least early data would suggest that. So I'm going to let y'all pick that. Bucky's a little expensive at a +10. Uh, but I like Brees Hall a little bit. But I love Henry over Hall, Harvey, and Henderson here because they're high in underlays. Green is where you want to be here. So this is some data. This is a look. This is a way you frame questions. If it sounds too complex and whatnot, great. Just take a dartboard then. But those 2 or 3, you guys, have I converted 2 or 3 to listen a little bit? I hope so. But if not, hey, I don't care. Nobody's paying me money. And hope this helps you out. And can't show all my secret stuff, but I will discuss some of this. So come back. This is Dr. Bush for the process. How about them Saints? Who dat? And we'll see you next time. I may keep adding some videos on best ball for a while. It's early February. Woo woo, we're having fun. Hope the Super Bowl's good to you. I'm not betting a damn thing. Okay, later.